Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 22nd of March 2023. It is currently 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember, this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees a market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. I mean, what a fortnight it's been, hey? Just absolute, crazy stuff happening. And I just want to, there's a lot I'm going to cover today, and so it's going to kind of just be a bit of a rambling and just roll into a lot of stocks, okay? And this is just FRC, First Republic Bank, one of the banks caught up in the crisis. I just, for some reason, picked this one out, but 145 bucks, this swing high down to 16. A few months back when FTX, the crypto exchange, was collapsing, we had all these crypto haters who are perhaps not too educated on the crypto space, crying, for blood, and how, it proves that the whole crypto thing's a scam and everyone that believed in it was a complete idiot, and then we're back again to the GFC type shit of banks collapsing and going under, and it's just, FTX collapsing has nothing to do with crypto, okay? It's an exchange, right? So it's been told millions of times to people that listen, never ever ever keep your positions on an exchange, right? Because they're centralized. They're just companies. You're trusting people. That's the whole point of crypto, is that you shouldn't be trusting people. FRC is a bank and you're trusting people, right? Just like the GFC in 2008, when all the shit was hitting the fan and banks were going under, we have it again, and it's because people are involved and people make mistakes and people take stupid risks and people cannot be trusted. And so I just think it's funny that, where are those people now who were getting stuck into FTX? This is a human problem, and I've ranted for too long about that, but crazy shit happening on the stock market. And the other thing is, what am I doing in my investing and trading, right? And I'm going to get into that in detail. But let's just quickly roll through. MRM, I had a little position left, stopped out when it broke down below this trend line. I'm not going to give back that paper profit on the last 1/6 of that, okay? So MNB broke out of this amazing base. I'm still in it, okay? I mean, really patient. It's just every down day is on tiny volume. I'm just giving it room. I'm really not watching it much. It's just going to give it a good chance, okay? Gear, I've been buying gear, okay? Down here, I posted to Twitter, just down here in the 22s. I did get a bit in the high 22s, like 22.97, I think it was, or 93, I don't know. 20, and then 22.57. It's just, my view is that just because some idiots made some bad bets in America on SVB, and it's just, that doesn't mean that all the companies on the ASX have suddenly turned to shit and no longer good businesses. I just think that in the long term, this is just a blip. It's my own opinion, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? This is all the decisions we make. But I just think this is a buying opportunity for me. If let's say another bank goes under and gear flings down here to 18 bucks, I'm just going to buy more. I just don't give a shit. I'm just going to buy more, and I've got a 10 to 20 year time horizon on this thing, okay? If I was 80 and had a 3-year time horizon, I would not be doing what I'm doing, okay? It all depends on everyone's personal situations, which is why nothing I ever say is investment advice. It's just what I do, right? But I'm just not stressed about stuff like gear and good companies, because the stock market has shown over many decades that good companies recover, okay? And so I'm going to get into that more. But the other thing that's really kind of interesting to me is that, I didn't mean to do that, bear with me here, is that here's QQQ, NASDAQ 100, and it's made new highs. So it started an uptrend, okay? We've got all this stuff going down, but even on some of those huge down days, the NISI and Dow were getting hammered, but the NASDAQ really wasn't. We had tech, and a lot of tech stocks doing very well, like Coin and a bunch of others. I'm going to go through some in a bit. And then NASDAQ ETF, ETF 100, top 100 NASDAQ stocks has been going up, okay? And so I think that's pretty significant. I've got a position in this that I've had for a while, and I've added to it a few times. And the other one is Hack is also kind of hasn't, you would have thought everything that went down, it would be down here somewhere, right? But it's not. And I said 2 weeks ago that I'm bullish. I still am. I just can't. I'm just not going to let some idiots in some bank in America change my view on this at the moment. I might later, but not yet. I'm still a buyer of these kind of ETFs that I believe in for the long term. Whenever they're getting hammered, I'm just trying to get them cheap and sit back and not look at the ticker. Imagine if for those of you lucky enough to own your own homes, imagine if there was a ticker by the front door, right? And you walk through the front door and, interest rates went up that day and unemployment numbers were up and, the property prices fell 2%. You walk in your door and you just lost 120,000, with that ticker. You'd shit your pants, wouldn't you? And that's what's happening in the stock market. It's irrational. And people get freaked out by all these short-term price volatility and they panic and start pressing the sell button at exactly the wrong time. And it's just going to be volatile. It's going to be irrational. And when it's irrationally bearish, I'm just going to keep buying more in companies I love and ETFs I love, and I'm investing in these things. I'm 100% not trading them. It's just the opposite to trading, okay? And Asia, okay, I'm still in it, right? I've got a good profit on my first purchase and I'm losing on my second purchase, right? That's life. I'm going to be patient and sit in there and see what happens with Asia. CBA, I've got a long-term investment in CBA that's obviously just been like absolutely bent over, right? Since this high of 111 fell down to 93. I didn't panic. I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at the paper swings in this. Excuse me. I did get a little bit more, not at the bottom, unfortunately, but I think 95 lows. And if it comes down to this level I've put here, I'm going to get more, okay? I just think this company prints money. I just think it's irrational. And if it keeps crashing, then it's something I live with. I'll just have to live with that loss, okay? And it'll just be chalked down as one of my many mistakes in life, MQG, Macquarie Bank, I do like this company, okay? They just got their shit together. They make money. If we have another swing down, I want to pick some up for the long-term account. So that's a bit of rambling about some investment stuff and just what's happening in the world lately. I'm just going to now rattle through some trading setups, all right? I'm flicking from that investing mindset to a trading mindset real quickly, okay? And then I'm going to go back to the investment stuff in a little bit. DNK, no entry yet, all right? Major Bollinger Band squeeze came down here. I thought it was going to fail and come down. I had big volume expansion, kind of flushed out. Now we're back in this range. I'm just watching this guy. I'm not going to take my eye off it. There is just gigantic resistance up here. I'm going to trade a breakout. It's just a high probability setup for me. So it's getting nearly as good as the MRM setup. And yeah, that's it. That's all I really need to know. It doesn't mean it's going to win. 50% chance it's going to lose, but I'll definitely take my chances. ACL. ACL is 100% not ready. Okay, this is a wild gapped up today and a wild bar. This needs to have a complete volume and price contraction, ideally for another week or so, but it's just got potential because we've had these major bottoms, a big rally on big volume, tiny volume on down days, and now it's just starting to take shape, isn't it? The moving average is starting to come down and it just needs to base there for a bit longer. The next one is ADT, okay, and just sitting up here really strongly in an uptrend. It's not ready, needs to base longer, but it's just something on my watch list. I've already talked about crypto, but crypto's been rallying since this bank collapse, which makes sense, okay, and it goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier, is that people realizing that banks and the old way of doing things is not as safe as everyone thought, and crypto's been rallying, and so I don't need this ETF in my life because I have other crypto holdings, but this is showing early signs of a stage 1 base, hey, so I thought that was interesting. DCC, which is obviously in the digital space, is forming a huge base, okay. Don't really know if I need to trade this. This is just a volatile bloody thing. But if that can, I'm just watching it. If it just sits there for a bit longer, like another week, and just gives me a setup that is just so screamingly amazing, then I'm going to have to take it. Right now, it's not quite good enough. Like if it can just stay, like today's day, if I had another 5 of those in a row, then it would just be so good. I would have to put my money on the line, right? But right now, it's just not that point where I just really need to risk any cash. But it's certainly shaping up. IFM on the ASX, that's a pretty tight base. Hey, huge rally, tight base, and yeah, I mean, enough said on that. Hey. WTC, there are a lot of stocks surprisingly that's setting up. WTC needs a bit longer, but definitely basing up there. And I wanted to quickly touch on not that one, on Xero, on Xero. Okay, it had this huge gap up because I didn't go into huge detail, but I think they were letting go a bunch of staff. This is just this high growth accounting software cloud company. And anyone that has a small business probably uses them. Really, really sticky product. There was a podcast, I'm just trying to remember the name of it, Equity Mates. There's an Equity Mates podcast that they did with this company a few months or so back. Really good listen for those who like learning about fundamental stuff and about actual companies and what they do, you know, which I find really fun, and I think most people find fun once they get into it. And because at the end of the day, this is a company, right? And it's not just pretty lines on a chart. You know, this is a real company. They're growing really quick, and you know, now that they're slashing so many overheads, instead of showing a profit in 2 years, I might be able to bring that forward. Hey, and so that's why it's had this huge gap up, because now this company all of a sudden might be profitable pretty soon, and it's held this gap up. It hasn't given me an entry. I was hoping during all that FRC and bank collapses was going to come down here and I'd get it around 78, but it didn't. I might need to just, you know, not be a tight ass and pay up for my position. It will not be a trade. It would be much more of a long-term position on Xero, okay? And just quickly flick in. There's a bunch more stuff I want to quickly go through, but just quickly flick into the NASDAQ market. Apple broke out of this base. Okay, I've got a long-term position. I've been accumulating the position on a bunch of kind of cheats inside this pattern, and then loaded up more on it on a break of this pattern. Okay, it's my biggest position at the moment by far, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. Okay, Apple VCEL is still there we go. VCEL is still basing. Okay, just basing away. I talked about that 2 weeks ago, and I just wanted to quickly now just do something. Frank's pattern scan I do regularly. It just finds flat bases. It finds, you know, horizontal, flat, rectangular bases, okay? And I'm not going to go through all of them because, you know, there's 60 odd of them, right? But I'm just going to quickly find an example of something that I love doing. And this is INDI, which is a semiconductor stock, okay? And so when I scroll through the watch list of these bases, and then I find a base where it's in an uptrend, for example. One sec, I lost it. Yeah, when I find a stock that's in an uptrend and it's just sitting in a sideways basis, looks like it might have potential, then I spend a bit of time then researching that stock, all right? And I just, you know, I'll learn a bit, try and figure out a bit about it. I'll usually go to FinViz. One sec. So I usually head over to FinViz. This is where I do like a bunch of my research, you know, and I'm just going to go through it because I think it's kind of interesting for some people maybe who just getting into this, and then I'll look at the stock and I'll kind of look when its last earnings date was, which is Feb 16, and then kind of the basis of what I like doing is I'll flick down to the earnings date, which was oh my god, I already forget what it was, Feb 16, and this is how you really learn about companies. And it's one of the ways you learn about companies anyway. And I'll look at kind of some of the news that came out on Feb 16 and to learn about it. For example, you know, this stock is a high growth stock. It had post Q4 revenue of 33 mil, up 74% year on year and a 10% sequentially. And then I'll read through it all and really just simplify things a lot. I'm just looking for shitloads of growth. Okay, I'm looking for companies that, you know, are growing by 70% quarter on quarter or even year on year, whatever. But just companies that are blowout growing. You know, we all want to be involved in companies that are growing. There's no point being involved in some dead shit boring thing that's, you know, growing by 1% every 5 years, right? It's just the best money's to be made in growth stocks and companies that are flying up. And so I see that, and when I see numbers like that that are this good, then I start kind of really getting interested. They're the ones that I will have preference for if I have to choose the company. I have preference for the companies that have massive money making potential rather than the ones that are just pottering along doing jack shit. And INDI is just one of the examples. In a space I like, the semiconductor space, and so that methodology is how I try and find most of my stocks, especially in America. The ASX is a little different, but it's the same basic facts behind it. And some other stocks that have come up, I've found that way over the last kind of months and months one is Trade Desk. Okay, here is its earnings on this date. You can usually spot a good earnings date because it has a big gap up on huge volume. Okay, and so I was looking at this stock back here and not buying it, but accumulating it when it was kind of breaking. I'll show you guys when it was breaking this resistance line. Okay, around here somewhere. I didn't get the best entry on it, but I'm in the money now. Accumulating more when it gapped up and had a pullback around here somewhere, and then I'm going to accumulate more when it breaks this little cheat here, okay, this little resistance. All right, and just that will be 3 purchases in Trade Desk, which is a great company that's growing fast and dominating that online ad space game at the moment. I've probably spent, I don't know, 10 hours researching this stock. I can tell you all about it. I can tell you all about the company, and that is not really a trade. All right, this was like a stock that this is going to sound batshit crazy for those people who have been just all their lives trading like I trade pretty much, but the long-term investment side of things, it's so different. I'm going to expand on it a bit, but I will be just having a wide stop loss, and I'm happy to lose 50% of my position or more on it, which sounds crazy, I know, but the fact is, some of these are going to 10x, 20x, okay, 100%. Okay, it happens time and time again, and I have the belief that I can pick the growth stocks and the ones that are going to 10x. Okay, and another one is on running. Okay, on ONON. All right. Luckily to say, I was in this stock before this gap up. You know, I get caught in the reverse way quite often, but this stock I've been in this company during these pullbacks and down here and blah blah blah, but this is a company, running shoe company. I know a lot about the space, and this stock is just growing and taking market share from big companies like Adidas and Nike. And read for yourself. It's how quickly it's growing. It's a company that Roger Federer is an investor in and has a big role in, and growing fast. Now, I did not sell this on the gap up, okay? I want to get more of this company if I can. If this has a pullback some stage, I'll just close my eyes and buy it, right? I just think that in 5-10 years, I'm just going to be able to 10 bag, 20 bag, 30 bag. That's the bet I'm taking. Even if in 1 in 5, I just lose the whole thing and it goes to 0, I just don't give a shit, because all I need is 1 in 10 of them to 50 bag on me, or whatever. And that's what my long-term investing is all about when it comes to companies. And this is not something I've ever really talked about before, because it's so damn hard and it's so damn risky, and you need to be prepared for losses. But in terms of risk reward, it's still in your favor, right? Because you really only need the occasional one to just go up by so much, and you just can make life-changing money. Okay, another one, just before I finish up in a sec, and just a few more things to talk about, is GFS. GFS is a semiconductor stock. They have a contract to make all the semiconductors for GE, sorry, and this is just a growth company too. Okay, massive earnings here, pulled back in here. I've got a position. I would love to add to this at some stage. Okay. The other thing, just before I leave, and I'm going to, in the newsletter I'm going to bring out in a few days, I'm going to go through this in much more detail, because it's kind of I find it really interesting. I think it's kind of cool. This is a monthly chart of Monster Beverage, okay? And I love trading, don't get me wrong. And when I trade, I always use a stop loss, okay? And I have not invested in Monster Beverage, unfortunately, okay? This is you know, not something I did. But if you have tight stop losses for investments, you are never gonna have a 100 bagger. This is more than a 100 bagger, right? Okay, because it used to be 80 cents, 50 cents or something, and it's over $100, right? So it's more than a 100 bagger, okay? Here is a 50% retracement. Here is a 70% retracement. Here is a 50% retracement. Here is a 30% retracement. Here is a 28% retracement. The investor's mindset is they love the company, they love everything about the company, and they just stick with it through thick and thin, and then one day they make 100 bags, right? The trader's mindset is that they get in and they have a very tight stop loss and they're trying to eke out profits, and which I love doing, and it's what I do mainly. But if you trade with tight stop losses, the facts are you are never ever going to have a 100 bagger, okay? And I think that crazy wealth can be made from investments. I think really, really good money can be made from trading, but I haven't met that many people, to be honest, that can succeed at trading. There are a few out there. If you're one of them, send me your financials, and you know, and if you're that good, then we can set you up and get people funneling money into you, and you can trade for them. But there are not that many. It's hard, and you know, it is also hard with long-term investments. But I think that it is a game that is, once you find good companies and you have belief, you just buy them and you just forget about them, right? You just lock them away. That was a bit of crazy shit. I'm probably going to get ripped apart by a few people, but I 100% don't give a flying crap. Take care, everyone. Bye.